car salesman is suing his former boss for farting in his office and pinching male staff members' nipples. Story goes like this. The employee claiming he suffered in a sexually hostile environment. Apparently, the boss would enter enclosed offices, intentionally pass gas, and would laugh as employees were forced to breathe the soiled air. Then he would pinch male staff nipples. Now, this employee says management ignored all of the concerns, the boss's locker room antics. What pushed things over the edge, and his boss ultimately got fired because the boss distributed a flyer. So it gets back to look, we typically think of harassment in the workplace as being
work environment.
But this is a little different. You don't tend to think of it as someone passing gas.
I think this is kind of an interesting question about where do you draw the line between camaraderie and maybe a locker room, sort of, oh, it's all boys and fun, to where does it really become hostile and where does it become harassment?
I mean, they're selling used cars. I mean, was this sort of a locker room, fraternity house type mentality where they're all good old boys and chuckling?
I mean, it started out that way, but I think once you start circulating a flyer with a picture of someone, I mean, that's hostile and that's nasty and terrible.
I think maybe
and warranted the dismissal. I mean, I really feel that that's a crime. And it's interesting because there's data on this, that UCLA, Harvard Medical School, Rand Institute, 1 in 5 Americans actually may be in a hostile work environment, and it takes a tremendous toll on their health. It can affect you physically, it can affect you emotionally, and that's bad.
You can politely say, well, you know, this sort of isn't fair, I was misled, but it is the way it is.
There's a very fine line between fun and games and crossing that line. I think obviously what is acceptable has changed dramatically for good reason, because in the past people would be bullied at work and have to hide under a rock and hope they don't lose their job. So we have a way of handling on our show the passing of gas, which is if I have to go to my corner. So if you ever see me hosting the show and I'm back here, this is my corner. I am trying to be respectful of my colleagues. It's one of those days where a lot of...
Yeah, but you're guilty. I know you've done it on the way out here while we've been waiting. You're kind of like looking around, see if I picked up on it.
Drew's revealing all the behind the scenes.
Oh.
Hey, tell me when I can leave my corner.
You can join the
come
party.
back?
Come on back.
Come on back. No, but I think one thing to keep in mind is if someone is in a hostile environment and it's taking a toll, the first step is certainly to contact human resources.
Yes.
And then if they don't act upon it, like in this case, this gentleman did repeatedly try apparently to lodge his concerns about the gas, and then it escalated. That's when I think you do need to seek counsel and really defend yourself
Well, you have
properly.
to protect yourself.
It's also as simple as you lodge that complaint to HR, and HR then goes to the boss and says, look, you can't be farting in an enclosed space and making everyone smell it and then pinching their nipples. If you do this, you will, right, it's
Can you imagine getting called in to have that discussion? Like,
but you would need to.
I get it, but I'm just thinking about where has common sense and civility
I'm not
gone
even sure if
someone has to tell you that.
The takeaway is that boss is out of here. And Doctor's Court is no longer in session.